whatever.
We'll muddle on without him. We'll see. That's more my dry comments there. But we'll muddle on without. We've done it.
What does muddle mean?
We'll make
trek.
We'll get through it. We'll get along through it on our own way. Anyway, two more things and we'll shut down this podcast. AEW ranking system returns, and I was thinking about this just actually while I was asking the Wardlow question. Did TNA have a ranking system at one point while you were there, or was it maybe after you left?
I don't remember a ranking system.
Well, you're lucky then, so you didn't have to keep up with the ranking system. So, as of recent, Tony Khan has been hyping up the wrestler win-loss records on television again. Apparently...
Now, he started this way, didn't he?
Yeah, he started this ages ago. And then apparently, another thing to blame CM Punk for, if you're that way inclined, CM Punk talked him out of focusing on such records. So, AEW once again...
CM Punk did him a favor.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
Because if you go by those rankings, I don't give a shit. Because if you rank a guy, say you would rank, I don't know, who's the kid that almost killed himself coming off the ladder? Who was his name?
Dante Martin.
You could rate him number 2, but guess what? Just because you ranked him number 2, don't mean he'll draw a dime. I'm going to give you a case in point. Did you go to see Stone Cold Steve Austin because of his great wrestling skill?
No.
You went to see Stone Cold because of his personality.
Yeah, because of the way he made you feel.
Right. Did you go see The Rock because of his great wrestling ability?
He was a wrestler.
He was a rock. Or Hulk Hogan. It just so... Because these guys were characters. And they got in a wrestling ring, but they didn't take arm drags and do that stuff and head scissors and drop kick. They didn't do that stuff. They get in there because they had their own style and the people liked it. And they liked Stone Cold and the way he talked. They liked Rock because of the way he talked. Hogan because of the way he talked and the way he presented himself. Not because of their great wrestling. So if Hulk Hogan was number 1 and Barry Horowitz was number 2, would you put that in the main event in Madison Square Garden? Number 1 meets number 2. People go, get the hell of here.
God, it makes no sense. There are 4 singles titles, right? And 5 top contenders.
You know what it reminds me of, really? And Tony Khan's he's been accused of this before. It's like a kid. Like a kid, he plays with toys. And he wants the toys to be wrestlers when the wrestlers are his toys. The real wrestlers are his toys, and he's writing it down. Now, in his head, I don't know. I can't say what he thinks. I hope he sells out everywhere he goes. I wish him much, much success. I met him a time or two. One time, seemed like a great guy, but...
Well, the rankings are a bit odd. I'm just looking at them. So we've got Samoa Joe, Christian Cage, Orange Cassidy, and Eddie Kingston, all singles title belt holders in AEW, and the contenders, there's almost as many belt holders, singles belt holders, as there are contenders. Then we've got Swerve Strickland, Hangman, Adam Page, Adam Copeland. Oh, Adam Page? He's done nothing in months. Yeah, he's number 2 in this list. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got that wrong. I was thinking of Adam Cole. Adam Cole's done nothing, he's not on the list. I'm sorry, everybody. Adam Page and Swerve Strickland are contenders 1 and 2, that's right. Adam Copeland, I guess. John Moxley, yeah. Roderick Strong, yeah. But then there's Kenny Omega's injured, MJF's injured, Adam Cole's injured, loads of people have injured. Chris Jericho's not on this, and he seems to be doing nothing but winning. There's the women's one, but then there's the tag team champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Then the contenders are John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who I think have mostly been getting wins on Ring of Honor. So apparently Ring of Honor wins are now counting towards this. And Private Party, who I don't think has won very much. And
who is that? I've heard Private. What is Private Party? Who are they?
It's just another team.
I don't get it. And the House of Black, they don't ever lose, do they? Or do they lose?
Oh, I think they lose now. They were in the trios title ones. House of Black, they were
Now
number 5.
that's another thing I don't like.
Yeah.
The trios. I hate 6-man tags. They're actually kind of tricky to work. I don't know how you do it. I've been in a couple of them. I never even tried to put them together. I just went out there.
The tag team ones is interesting because neither FTR nor the Young Bucks are in the top 5 as well, which I think is quite odd. But they've got people who mostly lose in the top 5 contenders. Before we get off this, is there any way that wins and loss records can work in a pro wrestling setting?
I don't think so.
No?
Unless you just, I don't know. It's not like the rankings like in football. Or, I don't know. Or in boxing. See, boxing, they have those fights every 6 months. So you can kind of rate that because they're going for a big show. But if you're trying to do this every week, you confuse the fans and the guy who's putting this ranking system together. I think he has to get confused. Who helps Tony do this? He does it on his own?
I think he must have other people doing it. But when they had the old ranking system, do you know what they used to do to pad wrestlers' records? They would actually legitimately do this. They'd take them off TV for weeks and have them wrestle on Dark and Elevation, which are like the YouTube exclusive shows. And then they pad up their win-loss record, legitimately, I suppose legitimate as it gets, really. You know, in a month, get 9 wins on untelevised shows, and then they can bring it back on TV and say, hey, he's 20-0 now instead of 11-0. But the thing is, it's like it seems that all it's doing is creating a giant pile of booking problems, and it's just logic where logic is bound to fail at some point.
I don't think the fans understand it. And if you don't show it to them on TV, they don't get it. It's like watching a football team. Hey, they played 7 games last week and they won 5. What? I just want to know how they're going to do against this team. It's what I want to know. Give me one thing to look forward to, one thing to focus on, and I might buy that. But don't throw a bunch of other stuff out there. I think it's just it's lost in the ether somehow. Nobody understands it. And even worse than that, nobody gives a shit. Excuse my language.
Never.
Hey, we're talking about that bodily fluid.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know who did.
Yes, I know. Old, yeah, never mind.